to be honest, and I'm a bit nervous. We're doing good till now. There we go. The engine just died. That's not good. Gotta pay attention to this where we are. I think we're gonna throw out anchor.
I hope this goes by fast.
4 years ago I crewed on other people's boats across the Pacific Ocean and learned the basics of sailing. After I had to stop building my cabin in Spain last year, I decided to return back to the ocean.
Since recently we have our own small boat in Guatemala, it turned out to be a bit more of a lemon than expected, and we are now transforming the boat into lemonade.
Or limonada.
And step by step we are getting closer to sail the Caribbean and eventually the rest of the world together. So I just saw that this crocodile is caged close by to us somewhere. Are you scared?
It's 3.4 meters. Hell yeah, I am.
You're a pussy.
I know.
They won't come here into the boat.
I better hope so.
Do you dare to go in the water?
Well, apparently if you jump on one of them, they bite. So I hope they're not too far under the water. A little bit afraid I am, yeah, definitely.
I'll protect you.
I like it more to be on top of the water instead of in the water. So all these boats here, they drive really fast, so that's why we try to keep really close next to the boat. Now she's holding a rope because last week an 80-year-old man was run over by one of those boats and died.
After working on the dock in the marina for almost 2 months, we left to go on anchor for the first time, like almost a week ago. As you can see, we have this really nice view. Uh-oh. I'm using a selfie stick because my arms were too short. But we also wanted to go on our first trip down to Cayo Quemado. It's up the river, I think around 10 miles, a 4 hours drive. But we found out that our navigation lights aren't working, so we need to fix that first. And also when we try to communicate with other boats, we could hear them, but they couldn't hear us. So it's kind of really a safety priority to fix that, because yeah, you need to be able to communicate with other boats in case of emergency. Also, we want to install the water filters so we can drink the water, since we drink a lot of water. So let's do that first and then we can leave.
Yesterday we went to the marine store and a portable handheld was $140. So now we found one on Facebook group here which is $10, but it misses an antenna. So we're gonna buy it and see if we can find an antenna.
We have the radio and now we're going to look for an antenna in the village. We didn't succeed to find an antenna in the first 2 shops we went to, so now we're on our way to Carlos the Welder, and hopefully we will succeed over there. We're at the tuk-tuk, my first time. We're now here at Carlos the Welder and Huub is treasure hunting over there behind me. I hope he's done really soon because I really need to go to the bathroom. Nope, he is still going strong with the treasure hunt. Okay.
So I can't find a antenna for my for the VHF that I bought. I'm gonna see if maybe, because I've only been using my normal VHF, I've been trying to use it in the morning and my batteries are like almost no power in the morning, so I'm gonna see now maybe the transmitter needs more electricity than the receiver. I don't know, let's try it out. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So now it works, so it must have been a power issue because my batteries are very low, almost out of power in the morning. Gotta figure that out. I think I'm gonna keep it anyway for 10 bucks. I couldn't find an antenna, but I'm sure I'll find one on the way. And now we're having Food! To make the water better drinkable, we bought 2 filter housings and 2 filters. The one is a 5 micron, which filters out everything that is bigger than 5 micron, and the other one is a carbon filter, which makes, if there's a little bit chloride bleach taste to the water, it'll filter it out. That should be a lot better. Gonna install it here at the freshwater tank. Actually, there's a 3-way split now. One goes to the shower outside. Gonna disconnect it because I only want to use raw water for showering because we just don't have enough. And now it's connected to the electric pump. In the future, when I want to work with a hand or foot pump, I need to change something to make it different. So I'm doing the 5 micron last, and then the other one first. I think the charcoal first, then the 5 micron makes most sense, right? You don't see a side which one is up or down, so I guess it doesn't matter. I think there should be this side up if it matters, right?
I think it matters.
It looks like it matters. So these 2 filters were $10 each for this housing, and then I don't know, $2 or $3 for the filter itself, so pretty cheap. I'm not entirely sure if you put Teflon tape around PVC fittings, but I'll do it anyway. Well, let's try it out. Normally, before the electric water pump, there's supposed to be a screen, like a mosquito net, but thinner, and it stops the first tiny debris from going through the water pump. On this boat, there isn't one, so in the future I have to install that. But now let's first try how these filters work. 2 are installed. Now, let's do the real test. Good enough?
Yeah.
Yay! Checking the navigation lights on the front of the boat. It's on, but I'm not getting any electricity here. I am getting electricity here. Not, it should be more, but it should be enough to burn a light, I think. Yeah, so either the button is broken or somewhere in the cable is something wrong. I'm confused. On both the cables, I'm getting a minus signal. So I'm gonna trace the one that's supposed to be positive. We traced the wire, and the solution is highly technical, so I hope you understand. I pushed the wrong button. This one, they call them side lights, the one on the front, and not nav lights. So that solved the whole issue. That only took like an hour or something. Are you swimming? I want to go swim, but sometimes these small jobs just take forever to finish. So it's getting dark, so let's get a swim in, and then I'm gonna clean everything up. I think it's raining.
What?
I said I think it's raining.
No.
Okay, so I just got off the phone with Keith. The storm is calming down a little bit right now. I don't know what it's going to do, but I downloaded an Anchor app, which I used to have on my other phone, not on this. Anyway, and then I set the point, and then it told me I was 30 meters away from that point, and I'm like, am I dragging, am I dragging? That I have, the chain I borrowed is 3/8 or 10 millimeter, which is, and it's a depth of 15 feet, and I have more than 75 feet out, so I could be dragging, but there's a whole lot of weight to hold this small 30-foot boat. It just made me feel safer having a chain like this. It was a little scary. I don't have an insurance on the boat, and well, these are things that belong to new boat ownership, I guess. What about you?
I hope this goes by very soon.
You want to watch horror movie part 1 of yesterday?
No.
You don't want to watch a horror movie in this weather?
No. This is a horror movie. Live from the tropics.
This is your first interesting experience in weather like this. Sadly, it will get worse when we have to re-anchor one day in this weather.
I'm going home.
Before we're leaving, I need to run through a few scenarios. So I'm gonna pull up the anchor. You're gonna be behind the helm, the steering wheel. And when the boat is loose, what do?
I will steer a little bit, very slow.
In which direction?
That.
Yeah, at least as long as we stay away from the other boats, then it's fine. Should be deep enough here. You can see it on the depth meter. Other scenario, we're gonna motor a lot. There's no wind. If something happens to the engine or to the steering or whatever, and we need to drop anchor, if it's not deep, we can do it immediately. If it's too deep, then what do?
One of us jumps into the dinghy.
I jump in the dinghy and start the dinghy.
Okay.
Then you go in the dinghy.
And then I will drag the boat into more shallow water.
Yeah, there's a long line in the dinghy which you'll toss to me. I'll tie it to the boat, and then we'll go to we'll try to pull the boat to a place where it's.
But that's not gonna happen.
Of course not. All right.
No.
Let's do it. Here we should make sure that the temperature doesn't get too hot, and that the oil pressure stays at a good level, and that water keeps spitting out, which is not right now because the engine is not running. So we've been having some power issues. At shore we still had a cable, and now we're finding out how our consumption is of electricity. We have 300 amp gel batteries. However, we don't have a separate starter battery, so if those are dead, the engine won't start. So you might have to wait for a little bit more sun until the engine will run. Let me just turn off the fridge, because maybe that'll give a little bit more juice.
Oh yeah, motor is running.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
We are free. Put in the route, navionics. Let's try this out. I left the anchor in the water for a little while just to get all the sand off. I'm leaving all the chain here because I now know this is 75 feet. If something goes wrong, I know exactly that that's 75 feet to put out. I have to be honest, I'm a bit nervous. We're doing good till now. There we go. Everything here seems fine. All right. This is really great that we're doing this together, because now while she's steering I can check the engine, all the systems and everything. This is good. I'm never gonna have this moment again, I guess. The first time ever. I just hope everything goes smoothly today. I really hope so. Sometimes your engine has a little bit uneven revs. It drops like a little bit and then goes back. I don't know if that is because we're towing the dinghy or because that is because the engine hasn't been used for a long time and maybe the prop is, you know, maybe a little bit of growth behind the prop or something. With only 2,000 revs, we're doing 4.8 knots. That's really surprising for me. I was expecting to go a lot slower. There is Captain Pirate Dirkja. How are you feeling?
Good.
Excited?
Yeah.
So am I. Better than last night, huh?
Oh yeah, way better.
We're having a tiny bit of smoke coming from the engine, but all the meters are fine. So probably the exhaust behind it, there's something wrapped around it. Probably there's a tiny bit of leak. I guess so, because I cannot figure anything else besides an antifreeze hose that would leak, and then I would see the antifreeze drop, and it doesn't. So I assume it's that. As long as the meters are staying fine, I'm just gonna continue with it. I'm trying out my autopilot. I'm hearing beep sounds, but the motor doesn't work. One more thing that doesn't work on this boat. We'll figure it out. You look very serious. Is that a serious pirate face? You see that's a lobster pot over there. There's one over there. There are fishermen there. And they're having a bunch of lobster pots out, so we gotta avoid them. Otherwise they get stuck in the prop. The engine just died. That's not good. Gotta pay attention to this where we are. I think we're gonna throw an anchor. I wanted to get the dinghy, tow it somewhere to throw the anchor out, but then I cranked it again and it ran. I don't know what it is. I feel like it might be fuel related. I took most of the old fuel out, but not everything, and then filled it up with, well, I have a 15 or 20 gallon fuel tank, and there must have been only like 1 or 2 gallon old fuel left. Maybe that's what gives the problems. Anyway, we're just gonna keep on motoring, and then if it happens again, then we just have to throw an anchor. The good thing is that the place we're going, Brian and Keith are there too. Brian is actually on his way here, so that's my security. If it really goes bad, I hope it is before we meet him, and then I'll throw out anchor, and then at least we have some help. I can see Brian over there. That was our safety number 1. He's gonna pass us. Keith is, I think he is still at Kyrgyzstan. That's safety number 2. We're exchanging a diesel engine book for 2 beer. Give it to me.
All right.
We're debating whether it might be smarter to turn around, and then when you guys go up north or something, to go a week later to Kyrgyzstan. Does that sound like a smart idea?
We're more than happy if you come back up to Rio. We can take the boat out, run around, and do a little survey.
Turn the boat around.
So we just turned around back to Rio Dulce, now following Pelican, and behind us is Fagari and also Kyrgyzstan. So yeah, our engine died 2 times and almost 3 times, and I think even more. So right now we can get the help from Brian and Keith if we go back to Rio Dulce, and then we can try to fix the things that needs to be done in order to get the engine running properly, and then we can go to Keu Kamado again.
How do we feel about going back?
Well, actually not too bad, because we've been out with the boat, we used it, saw the view, the country, another scenery.
I feel a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because my plan was to give you some nice, to be there, to do some different things. But you know, we are on a real budget and we have to be smart. We have two amazing people I do have to see if we're going in the right direction. We are. There's two amazing people here who are so willing to help us, and they are not there anymore. This is just the smartest idea to do with the engines, the revs going down sometimes. They're willing to help us, and if I don't turn around and we get stuck there, I'm sure we'll figure it out, but it's going to be a money question, right? I have to ask professionals sorry, I have to check the direction. Ask professionals to help if I cannot fix it myself. This is our first trip still. We've tested out the boat even more. I'm very happy that this is a major achievement, even though I feel a little bit disappointed right now. This is a major achievement, and soon we'll be going to the next step. So now let's get safely back.
Seize the day!
The iPad needs to cool down because it's too hot. That's exactly what you need when you're navigating on the iPad. It doesn't matter right now because we're following him over there, but yeah, in the future I gotta do something about that. This is coming because I said the Dutch word passagier. And according to her, that's not how you pronounce it. No, passagier.
It's passagier.
To all my Dutch friends out there, is it passagier or passagier?
No, passagier. Definitely.
I'm from Nijmegen area, so is it not? Don't we say passagier?
No.
The good news is that the engine stopped smoking now after using it for 2 hours. When I go on low rev, it still stops, so that's still a problem. But maybe what was smoking was still old debris on the engine. I'm really happy, guys. I have a boat, babe. But what do you want more in life? A big thanks to my patrons who make it possible for me to keep making these videos. If you'd like to become a patron too, check out the link.